On a polo field in England, under a mild June sun, one of India's most powerful industrialists took his final breath. Sunjay Kapur, a man with a $1.2 billion fortune and the chairman of a global automotive empire, collapsed mid-game. He was only 53 years old. Initial reports were a whirlwind of confusion, a heart attack, a freak accident, maybe even a bee sting. At the absolute peak of his power, his life came to a shocking and bizarre end, leaving behind a multi-billion-dollar legacy and a whole lot of unanswered questions. This is the story of what really happened to Sunjay Kapur, the final, dramatic chapter of a billionaire's life and the immense empire he unexpectedly left behind. To really get the magnitude of this loss, you have to understand the empire. Sunjay Kapur wasn't just some wealthy heir. He was the quiet force driving an Indian engineering dynasty. His story starts with his father, the visionary industrialist Sunjay Kapur, who founded the auto components company Sona Comstar back in 1997. The name Sona, which means gold in Hindi, was a nod to his own father's jewelry business, a cool detail connecting the family's past in traditional trade to its future in high-tech manufacturing. When Sunjay Kapur passed away in 2015, Sunjay had some monumental shoes to fill. And he didn't just fill them, he made them bigger. With a bold vision for global expansion, he took Sona Comstar to the world stage, setting up 9 state-of-the-art manufacturing plants across India, China, Mexico, Serbia, and the United States. He was a leader who chose substance over spectacle, focusing on precision engineering and innovation instead of chasing headlines. But his biggest bet was on the future electric vehicles. Long before EV became a buzzword in every boardroom, Sunjay was already pivoting his company to supply critical components for the electric mobility revolution. This incredible foresight turned Sona Comstar into a powerhouse supplier for some of the world's top automakers, including giants like Tesla. By 2025, the company he led had a market capitalization that floated between 31,000 to 40,000 crore rupees. That's roughly 4 to 5 billion US dollars. As the company grew, so did Sunjay's personal fortune. At the time of his death, Forbes pegged his net worth at a cool $1.2 billion, landing him a spot among the world's billionaires. This kind of wealth put him in a completely different stratosphere, far beyond even the richest stars of Bollywood, including his famous former in-laws, the Kapoor family. His empire wasn't built on glamour. It was built on steel, circuits, and a relentless drive for global excellence. While his business life was all about quiet, strategic moves, his personal life was often lived in the full glare of the public spotlight. His life was a complicated mix of high-profile relationships, starting with his first marriage to fashion designer Nandita Matani, which lasted from 1996 to 2000. But it was his second marriage that made him a household name across India. In 2003, he married Bollywood superstar Karisma Kapoor in a lavish ceremony. The union of a powerful industrialist and a beloved actress was pure media gold. They had 2 children together, a daughter, Samira, and a son, Kian Raj. But the fairy tale didn't last. Their relationship soured, leading to a bitter and very public divorce battle that was finalized in 2016. The proceedings were messy, with allegations flying from both sides and making headlines for months. The divorce settlement was just as scrutinized, with reports confirming Sunjay gave Karisma a house and set up bonds worth 14 crore rupees for his children, guaranteeing them a monthly interest income of 10 lakh rupees. In 2017, Sunjay seemed to find stability and happiness in his third marriage to Priya Sachdev, a model and entrepreneur. Priya, who had a daughter, Safira, from a previous marriage, brought a new energy to his life. Together, they had a son, Azarias. Priya often shared glimpses of their blended family on social media, painting a picture of a warm and modern family life. Photos showed Sunjay celebrating birthdays with all his children, Samira and Kian included, alongside Priya and Azarias, suggesting that despite the earlier drama, a sense of peace had been found for the kids' sake. He was a man who embraced his role as a father to his 3 children and his stepdaughter, handling the complexities of his family with a quiet grace that was a world away from his earlier public battles. Sunjay Kapur was a passionate polo player, a sport that perfectly matched his high-octane lifestyle. He owned the Sona polo team and was a regular at tournaments all over the world. In June 2025, this passion brought him to a fateful match at the prestigious Guards Polo Club in England. What exactly happened on that field is still a bit of a mystery. Eyewitnesses said that during the match, Sunjay suddenly felt sick. Some reports claim he told the umpire he was choking or had swallowed something. He got off his horse, and just moments later, he collapsed. The story that spread like wildfire was as bizarre as it was tragic, that Sunjay had accidentally swallowed a bee. According to these accounts, the bee either stung him inside his throat or blocked his windpipe, triggering a massive allergic reaction or anaphylactic shock that led to a fatal heart attack. Videos even surfaced online, showing the frantic moments as CPR was administered right there on the field. His company, Sona Comstar, issued a formal statement confirming that the cause of death was a sudden heart attack, but didn't give any more details about what might have caused it. Everyone is still waiting for the official post-mortem report to get some real clarity. The whole thing was a shocking reminder of how fragile life can be. One minute, a billionaire is playing his favorite sport. The next, he's gone. The victim of what seems like a 1-in-a-million freak accident. The aftermath was complicated because Sunjay was a US citizen who died in London. Legal formalities delayed bringing his body back to India. His funeral was eventually held in Delhi, attended by family and friends from both his business and personal worlds. His ex-wife, Karisma Kapoor, and their children were there to pay their final respects. Sunjay Kapur's shocking death left 2 huge questions hanging in the air. Who would inherit his billion-dollar fortune, and who would lead the global empire he had so carefully built? The leadership question was answered surprisingly fast. The board of Sona Comstar moved quickly to ensure stability, reassuring investors and partners that the company's operations would continue as normal. On June 23, 2025, the company announced that Jeffrey Mark Overly, an experienced independent director who had been on the board since 2021, would be the new chairman. Overly has over 40 years of experience, with leadership roles at General Motors, Delphi, and the Blackstone Group, signaling a future guided by seasoned professional management rather than family succession. In a move that reflected the family's ongoing stake, Sunjay's wife, Priya Sachdev Kapur, was also appointed as an additional non-executive director. The board also posthumously honored Sunjay with the title of Chairman Emeritus, a lasting tribute to his incredible impact. The question of his personal wealth, estimated at 10,300 crore rupees or $1.2 billion, was also a hot topic. Legal experts pointed out that the management of his estate would likely pass to his widow, Priya Sachdev. However, Sunjay had already made careful plans for all his children. The provisions for Samira and Kian from his divorce settlement, including the 14 crore in bonds and their monthly income, had already secured their financial future. His youngest son, Azarias, would also be provided for through the main estate. It was clear that none of his children, who are all still young, were expected to step into leadership roles at the company anytime soon. Sunjay Kapur's legacy is really twofold. In the business world, he'll be remembered as a quiet visionary who turned a family business into a global leader in automotive technology, especially in the EV space. He was a leader who cared more about engineering and innovation than he did about publicity. And in his personal life, he leaves behind a blended family and a story of navigating some very complex relationships with a quiet dignity in his later years. The final chapter of Sunjay Kapur's life was as dramatic as it was unexpected. A story of incredible wealth and power cut short by a moment of bizarre misfortune. He built an empire that helped shape the future of mobility, yet his story is a powerful reminder that life itself is completely unpredictable. The empire he built is now in the hands of trusted professionals, and the fortune he amassed has been carefully divided, securing the future for his children. But the void left by the man who was always looking toward the next frontier of innovation will be felt for years to come. What part of Sunjay Kapur's story do you find the most compelling? Was it his incredible business sense, his complicated and public personal life, or the shocking and strange way it all ended? Let us know in the comments below. And for more deep dives into the lives of the world's most influential people, make sure to subscribe.